So here we are. You had a simple question. How do I create an all files reader? And instead of Googling it and downloading a new exe file like once again, you decided to architect a modular, extensible, borderline over-engineered system. I respect that, because it's what I've done. Because obviously, if you're going to open a .txt file, you might as well design a full handler, router, viewer pipeline like you're building the next operating system. Built with Python, Customtkinter, and TkinterDnD. The link is in the description. Overall, the application follows a handler, router, viewer pattern, like MVC but for files. User input, then drop zone or file browser to accept file paths, where router determines file type. The handler specializes in file format. The viewer then displays content to user. The key principle, separation of concerns. Each file type, text, media, generic, has its own handler. Each viewer is specialized for its content type. The router delegates without knowing details about each handler. Just like when you write with your dominant hand, then do what you want with the second. This design makes the app extensible. Add new file types easily. Maintainable. Logic is isolated per file type. Fast. Heavy libraries loaded only when needed. Testable. Each component has a single responsibility. Core components. Main.py, entry point and root window. It initializes the Tkinter root window, sets up the dark theme, combines drop zone plus history bar into a cohesive UI. Why this design, you say? TkinterDnD.tk is inherited, so drag and drop works on all child widgets. Minimal GUI logic here, heavy lifting delegated to specialized widgets. Acts as a glue that ties UI components together. Easy, right? Drop zone, UI component. It displays a visual area where users can drag files. Opens file browser dialog on click. It uses TkinterDnD2 library for DND files bindings. Threading used to load file paths asynchronously. File dialog.askOpenFileName for browser. History bar UI component. Why? Right, it shows last and recently opened files as clickable chips. Persists history to disk with file history JSON. Very appreciated to quickly reopen recent files. Where is it stored? On my machine? Yeah, it's like that. You can't do anything. It uses JSON module for persistence. Router with business logic? Well, it matches file path to its appropriate handler. For it, we ask him to try each handler in order. Text handler, then media handler, and generic handler. After that, updates the history, then delegates to handler's open viewer method. Lazy, right? I think so too, but nothing. We match files like priority 1, text handler, which handles .text, .pdf, .docx, code files, etc. Then media handler for handles .mp3, mp4, etc. As for the priority 3, generic handler handles catch-all for .zip, .exe, etc. Rest assured, we can also make it randomly, but still, it's more efficient if we search for text, which is most common format, then media, second most common, and the rest for generic handles everything else. We implement also error handling with silent try except around, no file existence clauses.
Fallback to system player or VLC if installed. Here we have to talk a bit. We use Pygame Mixer for audio playback. Why? In a custom Taze app? Well, it's easy to use and cross-platform. For a video, if VLC installed, embedded playback via Python VLC. Otherwise, open with system default player. Generic viewer, it shows metadata for any file, and graceful handling of unreadable files. We can also see the metadata shown, such as full path, the file size, human readable, the created/modified timestamps, also the permissions, readable, writable. Error handling strategy. It's all good, but error occurs just like all type of system. But how do we fix them? If we have, for example, a file not readable, permission denied, corrupted, etc., the text handler catches exceptions in extract text, then returns error message instead of just crashing. The text viewer displays error reading file.
Whoops, a heavy library went missing, e.g. PDF plumber not installed. We show PDF reading not available, and continue with next extraction method, or show generic text. Or perhaps an invalid history file in .file history JSON corrupted. We load history wrapped in try/accept. It returns empty list on error. History just won't show, but app still works.
Extending the project. You can try adding a new file type, image handler for example, to handle .jpeg, .png, .gif, .bmp, etc. format files. Questions? Comments? Improvements? This architecture scales from single file reader to multi-format document management system. Start simple. Add handlers as needed. The pattern works at any scale. It may be a good exercise to improve. Firmly inspiring, no fear, just go. Warmly inviting. The full project is on GitHub in the description. It just waits for you. You can have a try of it. Continue learning, searching, coding. It's very exciting. See you to the next project. Remember, subscribe for more videos and projects.